I'm Joseph.
And I'm Nick.
This is Fish Jelly.
Oh, yeah.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Okay. So I guess we have to talk about Sidney Sweeney's American Eagle commercial.
American Spread Eagle.
I only knew about it because I saw Doja Cat was making fun of like a honky tonk accent.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, oh, she's making fun of Sidney Sweeney's commercial.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I knew about it. And then as the days went by, there was a lot of criticism.
Yes.
Regarding like themes of eugenics.
What does it all mean?
But basically in the ad, so, for people who don't know, Sidney Sweeney's this white lady with blonde hair and blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And she says a lot of things, but I guess the one line that bothered people is she says, genes are passed down from parents to offspring. My genes are blue. And then the narrator says, Sidney Sweeney has great genes. And then the print ads, say Sidney Sweeney has great genes, and genes are spelled Genes, and then it's scratched out and spelled Jeans.
Because people don't know what homonyms are, yes. So,
yeah. I mean, I can see, I guess, that the first thing I thought when I saw the ad was my impression of her as an actor is that she just seems like, she has those dead eyes and she talks in that way that's like, I'm so bored.
She seemed bored, yeah.
So I just thought, oh, she doesn't have a very seductive, like, I kind of got the sense they thought it sounded seductive, but she just sounds bored to me.
Well, men tend to be scared of intelligent women, so yeah.
But she's a beautiful lady.
Of course she is. I'm not going to take that away from her. But
so that wasn't the first thing that hit me. The first thing that hit me when I actually saw the ad is her hair actually blonde? Like, is she a natural blonde?
What's actually been passed down, Sidney?
Yeah, what's actually been passed down to her? That's what I thought. I didn't immediately think eugenics, but...
Well, I think that, unfortunately in this country, we have a history we've never dealt with, and we're seeing a huge backlash. So, of course, I think that is a valid hypothesis, and it would make a great it'd make for great evidence or commiseration in some kind of thesis project. But this is kind of, even if there's a backlash, this is the kind of shit, because just like we talk, we know the lines from the Brooke Shields Gene ads because there was controversy then. So this will be an ad now that's going to be talked about in the future, which is probably the most annoying part of it.
American Eagle made a statement basically saying great genes look good on everyone, and that, of course, their goal is inclusivity, that they were not supporting like white supremacy or eugenics. And then a brand executive said that Sidney Sweeney backed the campaign's cheeky tone.
Yeah, see, I don't think she, we have to keep in mind, even if she is a registered Floridian Republican, she's going to play Kim Novak in the new Coleman Domingo project, where, Kim Novak had a interracial relationship with Sammy Davis Jr. I would assume that she doesn't hold those beliefs, and that was not the intention. I think that this kind of conversation is important because it forces people to acknowledge the issue. But at the same time, there's so many other awful things going on that are more worth our time and energy.
And then, like a lot of things that people get upset about, it only heightens awareness. And so sales have gone up.
Exactly.
And their stock has risen. So it's like, people want to get, like this outrage only bolsters the brand. So,
well, and the fact that the White House has responded, and I think I think we should just ignore it. If that's what you think, you should just ignore it. And if you don't like it, don't buy the brand. And what's really happening is it's playing into the far right's hands, is that kind of outrage.
Well, people should speak up about things they're bothered by, but I think in the case of marketing, it's all like twisted and manipulative anyway. So it's like screaming into the void.
Because the statement, just as a statement, Gregor Mendel himself would agree with her statement. So I don't know.
Anyway, moving on to more annoying things. Gary Busey.
Oh, see, I'm completely ignorant that he was in some kind of trouble, really.
So he was at a convention. I remember this happening because let me try to find where it was. It was at a DoubleTree Hotel in
No, not the
Cherry Hill.
not the
It
DoubleTree.
was a Monster Mania convention back in 2022 in August, so exactly 3 years ago. And at the time, it was alleged that he had like grabbed a couple of women's butts, and then he had also like made gestures to a woman's breast, asked her if I believe they were real, and
Oh,
then or where she got them from, and then attempted to reach for her bra strap.
oh, okay.
So if that's true, that's crazy. Like you just can't walk up to people and touch them. And
Well, also as a notable person, it's like, they see dollar signs when you are
well,
acting.
that part too, which of course then everyone's like, oh, people are just, looking for money. And it's like, okay, even if that's true, he should know better. Like you just can't approach people and touch them.
Well, no, not if it is not if they are not entered in or engaged in that kind of a flirtatious conversation with you, then no, sir. Plus, Gary Busey for a long time has seemed, quite rough around the edges.
But either way, he originally said that that was not the case, but then he pleaded guilty to these charges, which amount to, I think, fourth degree criminal sexual conduct. So I think this means that he will be a registered sex offender.
Really? Wow.
He hasn't been sentenced yet. His sentencing is happening next month.
Do you remember that episode of Strangers with Candy where there's the blind? Is he a music teacher? Or no, he's in the gym and he has a sign on. He has it printed on his hand not to touch the girls because he always reaches out.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, Slappy, don't touch the girls." Okay.
Yeah, but this is pretty sad.
Yes, we should. I'm not to make light, but it's like, okay.
But on to nicer things to hear about.
Mm.
Lena Waithe has a podcast where she interviews really cool people, and I recently watched her Tisha Campbell interview,
Mm-hmm.
and I really like Tisha Campbell, and I think she gives good interviews. But she kind of I was looking for more, and I see that she really doesn't give a lot of interviews. I know in the past like 7 years or whenever she split from her ex-husband, and then they had really serious financial issues, and that was pretty embarrassing for her. That might have been the reason why she stopped doing interviews. But she was talking about School Days, the Spike Lee joint.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard her talk about it before, and how Spike had put to try to create like the tension between, because for people who haven't seen it, it's, I would say the main theme is about colorism.
Yes.
And so Spike Lee, this I already knew, but that he had put the darker skinned girls in like a shitty hotel, and then he had put the fair skinned girls in a nicer hotel with the boys to create that vibe.
Yes.
So, she relayed that, but a story she relayed that I didn't know is Vanessa Williams was originally cast in the lead, but then for whatever reason had to drop out. And so Spike Lee had specifically requested Tisha Campbell, but she didn't know that. And she was nervous because while Tisha Campbell's a pretty dynamic performer and an amazing singer, and she can dance, but she's not a trained dancer. So she didn't want to audition because she felt like she's not a dancer, not knowing that Spike Lee actually wanted her for the role. But then she told about how like she prepared for it. Like she showed up to the audition 8 hours early to watch other people rehearse so she could get it down. And I thought that was a fun story. But the main thing I didn't know was that Vanessa Williams was originally going to play that part. And Tisha did a great job, but I could also see Vanessa Williams doing a great job in that role.
Oh, for sure. We'll be talking a little bit about Ms. Vanessa L. Williams in the movies we watch for fun
on Patreon.
Because I think that connection, that Spike Lee connection, may explain why she did this late 90s film with Ernest R. Dickerson, because he, lends many of Spike Lee's early films, including School Days. So,
and then another cute story, you were watching Niecy Nash do an interview, and she talked about
that new Ryan Murphy series, All's Fair.
She was being interviewed for that.
Yes, which hasn't come out yet, right? I mean, that has a stacked cast, though. I mean, Niecy Nash, Naomi Watts, Kim Kardashian, Glenn Close, Sarah Paulson, Somebody else that I really like. Anyway, Elizabeth Berkley. But yeah, Niecy was talking about it, and I guess Kris Jenner had visited the set, and Glenn is on set, and they started talking about Fatal Attraction. And apparently Kim said she'd never seen it, and everybody thought that was crazy. And so Kris Jenner invited them all to her home to have a screening of Fatal Attraction with Glenn in attendance. And the scene where Michael Douglas throws her up, Glenn close up on the counter, and her breasts pop out. Niecy's like, I don't know who said it, but somebody said, "Glenn, is that your titty?" And Glenn said, "Yeah, that's my titty."
I know Glenn is fun to be around. She seems like fun and chill, and
Oh
then she's
yeah.
like Hollywood royalty, so I'm sure she has a million. Well, she's probably too classy to tell any salacious stories, but I'm sure she's fun to be around.
Oh, with her close confidants. Well,
And then based on the role she takes, it seems like she doesn't take herself too seriously.
yeah, I would agree. Well, she went through, thinking about her first role, The World According to Garp, where she's playing a mother out the door. She had such a prolific career, and producers, especially in the 80s, were all dickheads. I mean, I'm forgetting the name of the producer, but the when Jagged Edge got made, where she plays the lawyer defending Jeff Bridges, and the producers were telling her to her face that she wasn't pretty enough. It's like,
But so many actors have had that experience, which is so crazy because now it's like you want to be unique, right? And so many of the actors who share those stories, it's just crazy to think that
well, if you go back to the 30s, all of those women,
we're made to look the same.
no, they told they had to have something original. That people had to want to see them because it was them. They were the brand. That's why Joan Crawford, for off the top of my head, did that upside down lip thing.
Really, my impression. Well, maybe I'm not thinking the 30s. I'm thinking more like the 50s, maybe, because all those ladies to me look the same.
Well, there was conformity, and then something big happens like a Marilyn Monroe, and then how many people are fashioned to be the next Marilyn?
Right.
And if you think about beauty standards with women in the Hollywood studio system, it's fascinating because it wouldn't be until the late 60s when somebody like Raquel Welch, who is half Bolivian, where brunettes would again be in favor. And I mean, Black women, decades before we'd even get to even thinking about Black women as beautiful in film, because that just wasn't what Hollywood was talking about. They were completely discounted. But again, I guess looping back to American Eagle, there is a very dark history of how women were treated and who was considered beautiful. And yeah.
Moving on to 5 on the black hand side, 5 Black filmmakers who are not Tyler Perry. Who's first? Ivan Dixon.
Ivan Dixon. We, because originally until very recently, I was only focusing on filmmakers who are alive. But we did a podcast about Ivan Dixon's film, The Spook Who Sat by the Door.
Oh,
not that long
that's
ago,
right.
actually. Yeah, but I didn't put him in this category because he was dead and I wasn't talking about dead people. Anyway, fantastic. Probably better known as an actor, but was a director, has a seminal blaxploitation film under his belt as well. And this is the reason why I put him on this in the section this week, is because we reviewed Michael Jai White's Trouble Man, and Ivan Dixon was the first. It's no relation between the two. Technically, but Ivan Dixon directed the 1972 blaxploitation classic Trouble Man with Robert Hooks and Paul Winfield and Paula Kelly, and has the very famous Marvin Gaye soundtrack. But yeah, Ivan Dixon was in Raisin in the Sun opposite Sidney Poitier, Ruby Dee. I highly recommend if you haven't seen it. And I think this month Criterion, the channel, is doing a retrospective of director Michael Romer, who is white, but he has a very impressive filmography, and one of them is a film called Nothing But a Man, which is excellent, and also stars the singer Abby Lincoln, who, if you've never heard her sing or seen her, she's in another movie called For the Love of Ivy. That movie's corny as hell, but Nothing But a Man, excellent. He's also Ivan as an actor in A Patch of Blue, where Sidney falls in love with that blonde girl. And Shelley Winters won an Oscar for playing her racist mama. He's got a bit role in Claudine. He's in Car Wash. Anyway, notable actor, of course, but has a couple must-see films that he directed too.
Next.
Nnamdi Asomugha. This is also timely because we just watched this week Nnamdi's directorial debut, The Knife, for which he won Best New Narrative Director at Tribeca. That review comes out the week of August 15th because that is when it's going to be released. But there he is.
Certainly something to talk about.
He's, of course, married to Kerry Washington.
Next
is Eugene Ashe, and he's also timely because he directed Nnamdi in Sylvie's Love, opposite Tessa Thompson, which we reviewed, and I think we both really liked it. Aja Naomi King, who stars in The Knife opposite Nnamdi as his wife, it also ties into all of that. But if you haven't seen Sylvie's Love, that was a 2020 release. Excellent.
Next.
Jessie Maple. So I had wanted to, there just was no, we did a lot this week. There was no time, but the Cinematheque down the street from us was playing this film called Will. It was made in 1981, which is actually, I think, predates what is known as the first film released directed by a Black woman, which was Losing Ground. But Will, it technically the theatrical debut of Loretta Devine, was finally just released this year. It's got a limited theatrical engagement. And I feel like this is something I need to see, but I haven't. And so made in 1981, just released this year, directed by Jessie Maple. And I think she had one other feature that she did called Twice as Nice, which I also have not seen, but plan on catching up on.
And last but not least,
Kevin Wilmott. And here's another Spike Lee connection because he's written many screenplays for Mr. Lee, including Chirac and The Black Klansman, for sure. I know off the top of my head. But he's a director himself. And he, I guess probably his best known is a 2020 title called The 24th. Mo McRae is in that, by the way, and McKelty Williamson. Mo McRae, we bring him up in our Knife review, but I really liked his film, A Lot of Nothing, that he directed. I did start watching, but didn't finish, Kevin Wilmott's directorial debut, which is called Ninth Street, which has a really interesting cast, including Casey Moore, who you might remember from Daughters of the Dust and Killer of Sheep, and Isaac Hayes and Martin Sheen. Anyway.
All right, moving on to the restaurant section. We finally tried Breakfast Republic.
Yeah, actually, I was going to suggest going back again tomorrow morning.
Oh, I'd go. Well, I don't know. I mean, years now, I've been driving by the one in West Hollywood because I always go to that Target, and it's across the street from the Target center. But I didn't know that that's what it was, and I assumed it was just going to be some overpriced, wannabe trendy place with difficult parking.
Mm-hmm.
But then there is a spot in Echo Park.
Which is Echo Park, Silver Lake, my favorite part of LA. So I love being over there. But it used to, back when we used to live over in Echo Park, and this restaurant was right across the street from where there's like a flea market every Sunday, and that French restaurant that did we eat there? We walked in. Did we eat there?
We walked in and walked out.
Yeah. Anyway, it used to be called Alexander's Bright Spot, and I used to love going there. I think we had relatives visiting for my birthday once, and we took them all there. Like we regularly used to go, and I remember they were known for their desserts because the food was okay. I remember liking the farro salad, if you remember me getting that. But they closed. They became something else, and I forget what it used to be. What this second iteration was, but we went there, and I remember having a really good chicken pot pie. And then that closed, and now they're Breakfast Republic.
So it kind of reminds me of Hash House A Go Go.
Mm-hmm.
The portions aren't as big, and the pancakes aren't as decadent. But we ordered some kind of like scramble.
Mm-hmm. It was a jalapeno cheddar bacon thing.
But the thing that's kind of cute is they have something, I forget if it's called like pumped up potatoes. So for
Uh-huh.
like an extra $2, you can get your like just basic country potatoes with Brussels sprouts and bacon. They were really good.
And we got bottomless cinnamon coffee, Cafe Doyle. Oh yeah,
Yep.
and which would like that. But the portion, I mean, they come out on a huge platter. But what I thought was astounding was when I paid for the bill, it was like $43.
Well, you didn't finish saying what you got.
That scramble, and then pineapple upside down pancakes, which didn't feel too heavy. They were nice and fluffy and just right. There was candied pineapple.
I thought they were kind of disappointing, but they weren't. They were pretty cheap.
They were pretty cheap,
So,
yeah.
like the food is very reasonably priced. So, I would be willing to just try a different
Well, they
pancake.
have like Oreo pancakes. That might be a little more up with your the decadence that you need. But it was crazy because also last Saturday I had returned to LaFa on because I had to go to a LAFCA meeting, and it was near actually where Breakfast Republic is. But I've got their banh mi sandwiches for you before. Two of those sandwiches was $50. That's more than that entire breakfast that we paid for.
Yeah, those sandwiches are kind of
Oh,
overpriced.
but they're good though. And the lady there is so nice.
The chicken one I like. The pork one I didn't like.
Oh, I like them
That
both.
meat was a little too stringy and fatty to me. But
I ate that up like I was never eating again. God, I love banh
anyway,
mi. Anyway,
something kind of in the start of this man section. So for the Fantastic Four review, there were a bunch of comments about, because I was making fun of how Natasha Leone, her character, it's like you can't tell where she's looking.
mhm.
And so then there were comments like, that's because she's blind. I don't recall anyone telling me she's blind.
They
And
didn't.
then,
I don't think they established that because
but the craziest part is the first time we meet her,
she runs out in the street.
this heifer runs right out into the street.
The
Blind people don't just run out into the,
well
the
the
street.
well she doesn't have a walking cane, which maybe isn't required, but he, whatever that character's name is, the rock creature man, I really don't care, but he's standing in the street and all these children, because the Fantastic Four are famous in this world they're in, these children are screaming at him and ogling him, and she just bops on out there and talks to him.
I don't even know how she knew where to run into the street, because
Well,
he wasn't. I mean, he was talking.
he wasn't
I just think she ran out to that street like someone who had 20/20 vision, is what I'm saying.
and could be in the appropriate proximity to have a conversation with him. I don't think they established
I also
that.
hate when people say like it's canon. It's canon. Like, I'm not going to get a PhD in Marvel just to watch a damn movie. Okay, like, if you don't want to hear someone who doesn't know Marvel talk about Marvel, then just don't watch the video.
If you want to get into it with me about the literary canon and what you do or do not know about the canon and who's been left out of the canon for whatever reason.
Anyway,
whatever.
Also, in some review, I think it was, Happy Gilmore 2. Maybe. I don't know. Somewhere, maybe it was Patreon, I was talking about that there's an Adam Sandler movie about that has like an alligator scene.
Once you yes.
And people kept saying, yeah, that's Happy Gilmore. You weren't paying attention. But the gag is, I was thinking of The Water Boy, because there's that scene where he's in class and the teacher, who looks like Colonel Sanders, is talking about the medulla oblongata.
Yes.
And then, because the Water Boy, Adam Sandler's character, he's so damn simple. He's like, well, my grandma said. That's what I was thinking.
Yes, there is an alligator in Happy Gilmore, but it's like it's a to me, very slight gag. And what sticks out is the alligator from heaven is alongside Carl Weathers and Abraham Lincoln. Yes, I remember that, but it's not like burned into my mind, but whatever.
God.
Well, I mean, come on.
Can't tell this man anything.
No, you can tell me, and
You're combative.
Am I not allowed to retort?
To be combative.
I mean, come on. The alligator is not the first of 10 gags you think of in Happy Gilmore. And you were talking about like it was a thing. Like it's that alligator in that Will Ferrell movie with Reese Witherspoon. What was that called?
Films released we didn't cover. Bad Guys 2.
Bad Guy. We reviewed the first Bad Guys, and I think I remember being at that press screening and we were both kind of like, why are we watching this?
I don't even remember a movie called Bad Guys.
About the villainous animals that all get together.
Villainous. No.
You don't remember that? Well, we have a review out there for it, an animated film.
Oh, no. I know
Okay.
there's a movie about some dogs. I remember that.
Well, Sam Rockwell and Mark Maron, Craig Robinson are voices. Okay. Well, anyway.
Oh, in like the like there's a mayor.
Something
No?
like that. I don't know. I barely remember the first one. I just remember thinking it was like, I don't know if this is for me or why I need to see this. Remember, and Aquafina, and speaking of Natasha Lyonne, she's in there too. But that came out.
Architecton.
We got a screener for this. We didn't fit it in. We did a lot of other things, but this was it's directed by Victor Kosakowski, and basically it's about, as the title suggests, architecture. It's an A24 documentary. I saw it in Berlin last year, 2024. I recommend seeing it in the theater, but it's pretty fascinating, pretty meditative, and it's basically about the materials that make up how we've created buildings and homes for ourselves. And my main takeaway is like how kind of toxic concrete actually is for the environment. But Kosakowski, I think, is an interesting documentarian. His last film was Gunda, about that mother pig that gives birth and then we watch her babies be yanked away from her. Anyway, yeah, that came out this week. And I think is also notable, I believe A24 shut down their documentary arm. They aren't really looking to get into too much more of those, but anyway, it's worth seeing.
Soliman's Story.
Soliman's Story. This I saw at Cannes 2024, is that also last year. Boris Lokjin is the director. I'm probably butchering his name, but it is a very depressing tale about an immigrant in France that and is struggling to get by, to say the least. Yeah, it's set in Paris, and I believe, I forget where he's from, but he is trying to seek asylum. And of course, everything that probably could go wrong before his interview happens. And but the lead, his name is Abu Sangari, excellent. So if you can seek that out, and it won something. It was in the Uncertain Regard section of the film festival, but I forget what award it won, but maybe the top prize out of that section. Anyway,
lastly, Tura.
I'd sent you an email about this. I don't know if you saw it, but Cody Jarrett directs this documentary about Tura Satana, who I love. And so I need to catch up with this, like just for my own personal edification. But, I made you watch years and years ago, Faster Pussycat Kill Kill, which is has all my favorite Tura moments in it. But if you don't know who she is, she's this fantastic, over the top actor. I mean, that's a Russ Myers film, but she basically screams all of her lines in that. But yeah, if you don't know who she is, I think this would be a great introduction for the uninitiated.
Projects of interest. I saw that A Quiet Place Part 3 is coming out July 9th, 2027.
Yeah, Krasinski's directing. Mm-hmm.
I hope we don't see trailers for like an entire year.
Yeah, please.
Before the movie comes out.
Please, no.
I don't even know that I like when things get announced so far in advance, because it's like I feel like people forget.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that movie came out, or that. I mean, of course, A Quiet Place Part 3 will be a higher profile film, but I think in general, it's like, it seems pretty heady to announce something so far in advance. Like everyone's just going to be on the edge of their seats waiting with anticipation.
Well, right. You remember when Avatar 2 came out and Edie Falco was like, oh, I thought that came out years ago.
Well, or even like, I mean, I kind of think it's like the trailer is an event. Like, okay.
Yeah, for the Fire and Ash, the studio, we invited us to a screening of the trailer, and it's like, no.
And then Blood on Snow.
Cary Fukunaga is going to be directing adapting a Joe Nesbo thriller. who's the probably top tier Scandinavian noir, and apparently Pilo Asbeck is attached to it. So I like all of those people.
And Social Network too.
Aaron Sorkin has written and is going to direct, because of course David Fincher directed the first one that Sorkin wrote, Social Network, and Mikey Madison and Jeremy Allen White are purportedly circling roles. So he would play Zuckerberg. I don't know who Mikey Madison would play, but clearly after winning an Oscar, she has her pick of the litter.
Okay, this past week on Patreon, we reviewed several films. Le Bonheur,
Mm-hmm.
which I totally forgot what that movie's about.
We had a very long conversation about
What is it about?
Where that man is married and he falls in love with the other woman and thinks he's just going to be with both of them.
That's right. Yeah, it's kind of like the polyamory origin story.
Directed by Agnes Varda. Mm-hmm.
Session 9,
Mm-hmm.
The Heiress. And then we have a free review available of Ma Mère, an Isabelle Huppert film, which includes very, very sensitive adult topics. So be warned, but it is free. So anyone can listen to it on Patreon.
And if you're curious to see it anywhere, it was just today's August 2nd. For this month, the Criterion Channel just is streaming the restored version of Ma Mère this month. So if you want to go watch it somewhere and you were a subscriber to that channel, there you go.
Unfortunately, there are entries in the obituary section.
Death!
Alon Abutbul, an Israeli actor, died. He was only 60 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not familiar with his work.
Mm-hmm.
And then Marlene Warfield died.
Yeah.
An American actress.
Yes.
Who was in Maude.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And then Tom Lehrer.
Yeah, musician.
I'm not familiar with Tom.
Not off the top of my head, but no.
But he also passed away at the age of 97.
And I think, yes, Marlene Warfield was Maude, but also a notable role in Network.
Okay, the secret film this week was my choice, and I chose the 2003 American fantasy comedy Freaky Friday, directed by a Mark Waters and starring Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan.
Mark Waters, of course, would direct Lindsay again in Mean Girls the year after this. And I have to say, he had directed Parker Posey in one of my favorite performances of her entire career, which was The House of Yes.
I had not seen this film, and in preparation for seeing the, I guess, sequel.
Yes.
Is it called Freakier Friday?
It's called The Freakier Friday, yes.
Oh, okay.
But
in preparation for seeing that next week, I chose this film.
So I watched this in 2020 during the pandemic. You didn't watch that with me?
I don't know. I don't know a thing about this movie, and I didn't recall anything watching it.
Well, doesn't mean anything coming from you, but I'm pretty sure you watched this with. I don't know why I would have watched this alone in 2020, but it happened.
What is it about? Tess and her daughter Anna do not get along. However, things take a turn when, in a freak incident, they switch bodies and are forced to live each other's lives.
Is it a freak incident? It feels pretty calculated how it's laid out in this one.
Well, but they weren't unaware of what was going to happen.
Sure.
So I guess. But yeah, I really like this movie.
I felt much warmer about it. I was probably wine drunk and depressed about being locked in the house. So I felt much warmer about it this time. And I think Jamie Lee Curtis is quite lovely in it.
In like the first 10, 15 minutes, I was like, I don't know about this. But when they finally switch bodies.
When the switch happens.
Happens, I thought, oh, these two actors are doing a really good job.
So I'd watched the original 1976 version, and apparently there's a 2018 Disney Channel version too. I have not seen that, but I think what the 2003 one does so well is the teenage adolescent voice comes through so strong in the writing and performance from Curtis, which I don't think happens with Barbara Harris in the original.
I like this movie more than Mean Girls.
Well, I think it has the novel. Like I've seen it a lot less than I feel like Mean Girls has bombarded us since it came out.
Although to be fair, I don't remember what I thought of Mean Girls. I don't even, did I rate it somewhere? Do I know what I gave it? I don't know. Um, but I thought the writing was really good, and I like I think Lindsay Lohan has more to do in this film than in Mean Girls.
I agree.
Like her performance is pretty impressive.
It's much more complex. Yes.
I'm trying to see if I've rated Mean Girls. Oh, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So I liked it according to my rating the same.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do recall enjoying Mean Girls.
Yeah, it's
But
enjoyable, but
but this one, I don't know. I was really into it.
it's sweet, and the messaging is very nice, and it has some emotional peaks and valleys.
The story is about Jamie Lee Curtis plays this lady, Tess, and she's a widowed therapist juggling her demanding career and an upcoming wedding to her beau, played by Mark Harmon.
Mark Harmon. She has so many devices. That's automatic stress. Yep.
But she has multiple cell phones. I don't know if she had a pager, she had a Palm Pilot. That was a
An
lot.
organizer. Is that the same as the Palm Pilot?
Yeah.
I never had one of those.
I actually had a Palm Pilot. And then Tess has two children, a son who maybe is like 10,
Mm-hmm.
and then a teenage daughter played by Lindsay Lohan, and that's Anna.
Mm-hmm.
And Anna is rebellious because she feels like her mom doesn't understand her. And also, Anna's school life is kind of unfairly difficult. Like,
yes.
she's not really contributing to why she's having a hard time at school. So she's misunderstood by her mother. Anna's also a musician. She has the band.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but their relationship is strained. Like the entire first 15 minutes of the film is just them arguing, which I found grating. Like,
yeah,
this is too much. But they end up going to a Chinese restaurant.
House of Chang, which is not over in Chinatown.
And they're arguing, and the proprietor of the restaurant and her daughter,
well,
or we don't know which one, they seem like they own it, and it's a mother-daughter duo.
I think it's Pei Pei, played by Rosalind Chow, who...
The daughter?
Yes.
You think she's the owner?
Well, she's in charge. She seems to be commanding things, and you've seen her in a lot of stuff.
Either way, the mother-daughter witnessed them arguing, and it's the mother who has something up her sleeve, and it appears that the daughter knows what it is. So she's telling her mom, don't do it. But the mom sneaks away to give, because Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan end up going to the bathroom to argue. And this old Chinese lady comes up with some fortune cookies and just gives it to them.
They act so annoyed. And it's like, you're screaming in this lady's restaurant.
In my restaurant.
So could you just take the fortune cookie and shut up?
But they're in the bathroom and they've argued, and now they've taken a pause from arguing, and they open the fortune cookies, and the fortune reads, "A journey soon begins, its prize reflected in another's eyes. When what you see is what you lack, then selfless love will change you back." And then there's a little earthquake that no one feels but them. And we cut to them waking up the next morning.
Yes, apparently it happens after midnight because we get a lot of shots of the digital clocks. Yeah.
And they've swapped bodies. So the bulk of the film is, I mean, it's such an easy premise, these like swap things, because there's so much you can do with it. So of course we see them, Tessa, Jamie Lee Curtis, inhabiting her daughter's body, and Lindsay Lohan, Anna, inhabiting her mom's body, and all the comedy that it would lead to. And I thought, because at first I was kind of concerned, like, oh, it's going to be so corny. But actually, I mean, I really think, especially Jamie Lee Curtis, she really does sort of change. She's like fun-loving and mischievous, but they through that, because they spend like a day and like 2 days like that, they get a glimpse into each other's lives.
Yeah, because it's the night before the wedding rehearsal, and then the wedding. Yeah.
So they fulfill the fortune by basically seeing each other through each other's eyes. And They switch back just in time for Jamie Lee Curtis to marry Mark Harmon.
Yes, because even in the original too, it's the danger of the daughter in the mom's body having to be sexual or intimate with the adult male is alarming.
And then there's a side character played by Chad Michael Murray, who is Lindsay Lohan's crush. But then, of course, when they switch bodies, then it takes a cute turn because, and we need to talk more about it, but Chad Michael Murray ends up falling for Jamie Lee Curtis. That felt really uncomfortable.
That was uncomfortable. They're bonding over music. I find it so funny because I had, I think, the first album by The Hives. They talk about The Hives so much.
And then the final scene is the wedding, and Jamie Lee Curtis, now back in her body, we see that she has invited Chad Michael Murray to the wedding so that he can reconnect with Lindsay, Anna. And then we see Lindsay's band play. Another big sort of like side plot is that her band is auditioning for like a record deal or something at the House of Blues, which I thought was also a really cute scene.
What, inconveniently just down the street from where the wedding rehearsal is.
Well, let's talk about that, because I thought the most fantastical element of this film is not the body swapping. It's the fact that they drive from Santa Monica to Chinatown during a lunch hour. They drive there and back.
This, even in 2003, the traffic, there's not traffic realism here.
That I was, because I was eyeballing every location. Like, I know where that is. I know where that is. And then, yeah, they haven't, like at noon, they have to run to get lunch at the Chinese restaurant. If people don't know, Chinatown is like downtown LA adjacent. But they're in Santa Monica, and they...
Yeah,
and they have time to go there.
That's impossible.
Talk to
Pay.
Yeah, it's too much. But then, since we just talked about Patreon, the opening of this film is a montage of like older photos of Jamie Lee Curtis with, I guess, who's supposed to be Lindsay Lohan, and we hear the Turtles' "Happy Together" playing, which is interesting because in Ma Mère, that's a prominent song at the end.
Yeah, much different tone.
And that movie is like the opposite. We can't get too much into Ma Mère here, but it's about an inappropriate relationship between a mother and her son. But Freaky Friday is this Disney movie for adolescents. But then, on not on paper, because what happens in Ma Mère is worse, but the fact that these two switch bodies and somehow it never gets too creepy. I don't know. I think it's funny that these two movies that are so opposite share a song that is relevant to both.
The Turtles. And, around that same time, because this is 2003, Ma Mère was 2004. I think it's an 2005 movie it's a lesbian rom-com called Imagine Me and You with Lena Headey and Piper Perabo. And that the title of the movie is a line from that song that is utilized as well.
So one of the headaches Lindsay Lohan has at school is her English teacher,
Stephen Tobolowsky, who always I find creepy. He
has like a vendetta against Lindsay Lohan, and we find out that it's because he asked Jamie Lee Curtis out to prom 30 years ago. Well, I guess she's not supposed to be that old. Maybe like 20 years ago.
Probably 20, yeah.
And she, rejected him. So now his intention is to torture her daughter.
He's handing back papers, and he gives Lindsay an F. Well, Anna is her name. I had to write down the name. It's about Orwell's 1984, but the title of her paper is 1984, Love It or Leave It.
But Lindsay's smart. Her character's smart. But at one point, she criticizes that teacher's hair or lack thereof. And I wrote down, I know Lindsay Lohan's not talking about anyone's hair in this movie because her shit is so ugly.
Speaking of headaches, I got so tired of looking at that hair.
I know it's very like early 2000s. So it's not like she looks insane, but I just think the combination of her like overly tan skin and then her foundation is like one shade darker than the rest of her body, and then that awful hair. I thought she looked
I,
homeless.
I,
She reminded me of, what's the movie with Anna Kendrick and the serial killer?
Woman of the hour.
She reminded me of that one homeless teenager who was like the one to get away from the serial killer.
Yeah.
And that girl seemed more put together than Lindsay Lohan in this movie.
When she busts out of her room for the first time, when she's ready for the day, that Avril Lavigne style is so soul deadening to me.
And her makeup is so jarring, like, because it's like they're not giving her full coverage because we can see all of her freckles, but then she's clearly darker in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she must have been tanning, but her arms are still lighter than her face, but she just looks like if you told me like 15 years later that lady would look like Tan Mom, I would believe you.
Well, and then later when she, at the wedding rehearsal, she puts it up in a bun, and she looked just like Daphne Guinness, that has that xenomorph bun look.
Yeah, I mean, she does. I'm assuming they made her makeup more garish in the opening because once her mom takes over her body, she doesn't pack it on as heavy.
Yeah.
But she still looks crazy. I was hoping that when they switch bodies, the mom would go get a haircut and like cover up those awful highlights,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe wear like nice natural makeup. But she doesn't. It just gets toned down like 20%.
Which is funny because Jodie Foster goes to get a facial and gets her hair done in the original, like as the child, the mother in the child's body.
Oh, interesting. We see Lindsay's character go to detention, and I thought the detention lady looked like Large Marge.
Yeah, she was kind of entertaining. Also, you can get sent to detention twice in a day. What is the time that is being taken up? Why? I thought detention was after school as like a punishment. You're stuck late.
We did have, because I worked in 2 different school districts, and we, the more punishment version of detention is after school, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we would have like in school detention, like for kids who are misbehaving. And
but like when Tobolowsky, I think, is one of the ones that sends her to detention, it's like she's technically missing a class that has nothing to do with what she did wrong. Like, isn't what, I don't know.
Well,
that was confusing.
I agree, it doesn't make sense, but I guess it makes sense because he's being punitive because he has this unreasonable vendetta against her. But
mm-hmm.
Okay. Then, okay, Lindsay's little brother, who I understand will be in the new movie. He's a cute little badass kid. He grew on me because we've come to find out that he thinks that their fighting is like their love language.
Yes.
And he ends up writing a really nice note, or like in class his teacher asked him to write about someone you admire, your hero.
The teacher calls that an essay. That is a paragraph, ma'am. That is not an essay.
And he wrote about his sister.
Mm-hmm.
So then we realized that he really does love his sister. But when we first meet that kid, he is annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably more annoying than the kid is the grandfather.
Oh, I couldn't stand him.
And who is he? Jamie Lee Curtis's dad, or the dead husband's dad?
I thought it was Jamie Lee's dad because he's very familiar with her.
But he has like a hearing problem. He can't see without his glasses. And even when he has the glasses on, he seems confused. I thought that was a bit much. But early on in the film, the little brother, he's made to seem like an idiot because he gets trapped in his own underwear, like on his head.
Yeah, some of the broad comedy in the first like 10 minutes is it feels incredibly broad. Mm-hmm.
And then Jamie Lee's character can't get it off his head, so she takes some scissors to this one pair of underwear stuck on his head.
Mm-hmm.
But then before she can cut it all the way off, her new man and the grandfather walk in. And the grandfather tries to help the boy and takes off the underwear that's all cut up. And he goes, this was a long story just to get to what I thought was funny. He goes, what is this? One of them thongs? For some reason, I thought that was very funny. Okay. The lore of this movie, with it being like the power of the fortune cookie.
A Chinese curse.
There were several things about these characters that I thought, I wonder if we would do this the same in 2025. But
Well, it's different than the original. It's Friday the 13th, and the mother-daughter just
make a
make a
wish.
simultaneous wish, and it happens.
Yeah. But the when the change happens, there's like an earthquake, but only they can feel it. But it kind of tore up their like the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, did this woman want her bathroom torn up like that?
Well,
But also when they switch back at the wedding rehearsal,
it's immediate.
It's not only is it immediate, but everyone feels the earthquake.
It's immediate in a way like the camera is moving in a way like their spirits, their essence is re-entering their body. It reminded me of the demon in Fallen.
But the earthquake in the initial switch at the restaurant, no one felt it except those
Right.
two. So I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, the lore is lazy.
I'm trying to think what my favorite scene is, and it might be when Jamie Lee Curtis's character is a therapist, and she seems successful, and she's written a book. And at a point after they've switched, so now it's Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee's body. Jamie Lee has to do
therapy.
Well, actually, the therapy's funny. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which she has one client named
Evan. Willie Garson.
I thought that actor did a good job of being this really like neurotic man.
But he's like, he sees her every day. Do you know how expensive that would be?
Yes, I do.
Oh my God.
But the scene I was actually talking about is she has to go on a talk show to promote her book.
The Dottie Robinson Show or something.
And the book is called Through the Looking Glass, Senescence in Retrograde.
What an awful title. But
well, that's part of the joke is that
yes.
She's like, the publisher told me that people are not going to know what senescence
well
means.
Because she doesn't know what it means and clearly doesn't know what was written in it. But did you notice what else is on the book cover?
No.
From the author of Beyond Juliet.
Beyond Juliet.
Which reminds me, my mom had a book, something about women in madness, called Regarding Ophelia, because Ophelia kills herself in Hamlet.
But that scene where it's the daughter trapped in the mom's body trying to discuss this topic of like aging, and and then she ends up becoming like really energetic, and at a point like she's crowd surfing. And then it's at that point that Chad Michael Murray is watching this interview with Lindsay Lohan,
mm-hmm.
and is like, God, your mom is so cool. And then we get them, like, she goes to the coffee shop, and doesn't realize that Chad Michael Murray works there. And he immediately is like, he's making like goo eyes at her. Like, it was weird. And then they have a coffee date, and I thought that was so uncomfortable because even the patrons are looking at them like,
well, because there's a cover of
Britney Spears,
and
Hit Me Baby One More Time,
singing to it. But they're like, that song wasn't that old in 2003, and then he's like, oh, this cover is a classic. It's like,
or he says retro or something.
It's
like a cover of a song that came out 4 years ago is okay.
Anyway,
but I feel like that's something a teenager would say.
Sure, yes.
But yeah, how I feel about that is how I feel about how no one seems to have a problem in Clueless. That what's that lady's name?
Alicia
Silverstone and Paul Rudd are like step siblings, and they're in love.
Hey, it's
that same feeling I had for Clueless is how I feel about Freaky Friday, because this boy is like a teenager.
It's all propinquity. It's about whoever's next to you that you get along with.
But then they do say he's too old for you. So then it's like, well, how old is this boy? Mm-hmm. Is he over 18 in high school? He does ride a motorcycle. I don't know. I thought that was a little weird. Mm-hmm. Then the wedding rehearsal. I've never been to a wedding rehearsal, but I didn't realize they work like this, where they just dick around all night long.
Yeah, I was like, how early do you need to be there?
And I thought we were literally just going to do but you know what? Maybe I'm showing my ignorance, because maybe it's customary to have a dinner like before the wedding rehearsal.
God, doesn't that cost more money? Well, you and I eloped, so we avoided all of that. But
But then, the problem with the wedding rehearsal is that it coincides with Lindsay's band performing it for this like record deal.
That Wang Chung tonight or whatever's
Wango
happening.
Tango. So yeah, it's like that damn wedding rehearsal dinner seems like it was going to be hours. I feel like you could have stepped away for a little bit. Also, the building they're in for the wedding rehearsal does not, it didn't look like it was close to where the House of Blues is. So I thought that was funny that she was able to get there lickety split. But
They're like, it's down the street, and well, House of Blues is, I forgot that it's no longer, but I recall distinctly where it is on Sunset, right? And I'm like, where is this big ass building? Like, that's not there.
But I thought the actual not the rehearsal, the audition, Lindsay's band performing was really cute because of course they get on stage and Lindsay's anxious because she's really her mother and doesn't know how to play a guitar. But then Jamie Lee Curtis leaves her wedding rehearsal to go help her daughter.
Yes, because in her current state, Lindsay can no longer play the guitar. I actually thought there was a lot of joy in that moment watching Jamie Lee Curtis play the electric guitar behind the curtain. I thought was kind of magical.
Well, yes, and even Lindsay doing her little like
she was so awkward.
She was so awkward, but I think Lindsay Lohan, they both did such a good job.
Where Lindsay's best moment is when they get back to the wedding rehearsal and she turns around and she has tears in her eyes talking to Jamie Lee Curtis about, tell him to, if he loves me the way I think he does, tell him he'll accept this. Tell him that we have to put the wedding off, until we're back in each other's bodies.
Yeah, she did a really good job.
I think so too.
With that little 90-second performance. Mm-hmm. And then when they switch their bodies back, the grandpa was kind of annoying to me, but I did think his final moment where he's screaming earthquake was funny. And then the actual wedding, I hated Lindsay's maid of honor dress. Mm-hmm. I thought it was so ugly. And then I saw that at the premiere of the new movie, Lindsay wore like a replica of it.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I thought this movie was a lot of fun. Like,
it's fun. Some of the stuff is broad, and there are a couple corny moments. I think Chad Michael Murray serenading Jamie Lee Curtis outside her house does not work for me, but it does have a nice moment of Lindsay Lohan tackling him. It's weird. It's like it writes itself in ways when it goes astray, I feel. And then, it's such and then of course watching the 76 version the same day, they're both, time capsules, particular time capsules, because we forgot to mention that Lindsay Lohan's character has a nemesis at school. Is her name Stacy?
Oh, that's right. That you know what? Now that I think about it, we never find out why this girl doesn't like her.
Yeah, she's just a bitch.
Like so they used to be best friends. And then now that they're in high school, this girl is not just like cool on Lindsay. She is actively sabotaging
She's
her.
Cruel, yeah.
And then they never explain why, but yeah, there's a moment when Lindsay, as her mother, tries to like talk it out with Stacy, and then Stacy just does something really mean. So yeah, that was interesting. But I do think this story and the performances are strong enough that this could be something I could just put on.
Well,
and not pay full attention, but I could rewatch it multiple times.
As far as like body switching movies go, I think it's very entertaining. It's kind of like, it's stupid as hell, I know, but The Hot Chick is something I could also watch at all times. And I don't even really care for Rob Schneider, but Anna Faris and Rachel McAdams are comedic gold in that to me. And then if you've never seen it, I highly, highly recommend this 1991 film called Switch with Jimmy Smits and Ellen Barkin. And beyond that too, this Spanish film called Don't Tempt Me, with Penelope Cruz and Victoria Abril and Fanny Ardant and Gael Garcia Bernal, where it's set on heaven, hell, and earth. That's a great body switch film. But going back to the time capsule thing, I was laughing because in the gym, there's a volleyball sequence with Stacy where they're being cruel to each other. But the printed sign on the gym wall said no Walkman, no cell phone.
Oh.
Can you add a Walkman? And then I also was laughing because Jamie Lee is planning her wedding and she's on the phone in the grocery store. Oh my God, her contract. Oh, and another weird thing, the 76 version, the alarm clock is 8:15 a.m. Everybody wakes up at 6 in this one. So we are busy all day long. But she is bitching about the halibut for
That's right.
I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound like a very good. Anyway, she's paying extra for the halibut, but all this fuss over the planning of the wedding. We had just watched Night of the Juggler, and that's the police commissioner or the police chief's backstory. He's on the phone all the time bitching about the price of the shit for the wedding. It
Yes.
was random, very random and completely unrelated, but it was reminding me of that.
Well, I don't have kids and I wasn't a rebellious teenager, but I thought the representation of like the parent teen like relationship and their lack of communication felt very real to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a little emotional towards the end when they both kind of settle down and understand each other.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that at the wedding when they hug each other, that actually felt really like, you know, as real as it could be.
Oh, and I think Mark Harmon has a couple nice moments in there too.
Yeah.
When he gets to tell,
I actually totally forgot about him, to be honest.
Really?
I thought he kind of was just there.
The moment where he tells Jamie Lee Curtis he's like, I don't want to get married to you if you're gonna paint me as this like monstrous stepdad. Of course she should go to the.
I think his character was well written.
Yes.
But I think that actor seems like he was, you know, he doesn't really stick out to me.
I remember my mother really liked Mark Harmon because remember we were in West Hollywood and it's been there forever. There's that there's that ad of Mark Harmon on Santa Monica Boulevard. Is it by some eyeglasses place?
What?
It's been there for years.
Oh, I'm not sure what you're referring to.
You've seen it. We've commented on it because we were with my mother. She's like, oh, Mark Harmon. And it's a pretty large print of him, but I think it's still there anyway. And she really likes, isn't he in that NCIS stuff?
I believe he's a long running, yeah. But this movie was well received and it was a hit.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Well, you know, Lindsay had all those. That was 03, and then the next several years saw a descent, right? So maybe that's why there wasn't an immediate sequel greenlit, but we have one now.
I have some like little fun facts about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So Jamie Lee Curtis joined the cast at the last minute. Sigourney Weaver was originally cast as Tess.
I didn't know that.
But she dropped out due to scheduling conflicts. Annette Bening was then cast, but left the project just days before shooting began. Jamie Lee Curtis stepped in only 4 days before filming started.
Wow, Sigourney Weaver. Oh,
I could see it.
I could see it. Well, you know, and they're together in You Again. Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan almost didn't play Anna. There were other names considered first, like Michelle Trachtenberg and Hilary Duff.
Oh, God.
But Lindsay's performance in The Parent Trap helped her land this part.
Oh, yeah, Parent Trap. God, Sigourney, what would the scheduling conflict? It must have been with Holes.
Another Disney movie?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe she had a thing with Disney and...
Because that was an 03 title as well. Oh, well.
And then Chad Michael Murray's hair caused a stir because the director wanted him to cut it short, but Murray insisted he keep it longer, which ended up, I'm sure. Well, the other thing is like that kid is so good looking. It's like he could have short hair, long hair. Like I wonder why the director thought it was so important that he have short hair.
Well, is there a reason why nobody thought to shave that flavor saver on his chin? Because that was distracting.
And then Lindsay Lohan sang on the soundtrack.
Of course she did. This is before rumors got started.
Yeah. I also was trying to look up.
Well, the new one coming out is about, like, I think Lindsay's a mom in that.
Oh.
Is what I thought I read. But I don't know. It's, we'll see. I love Jamie Lee Curtis. I think not just because she's a huge Sigourney Weaver fan, but I really like her vibe. I've always liked her. I think she's a fun personality. Yeah.
I was trying to look up differences between the 76 version, the 1995 version, and the 2003 theatrical remake. But I see that the mom throughout the three were played by Barbara Harris, then Shelley Long, and then Jamie Lee Curtis. And the daughters were played by Jodie Foster, Gabby Hoffman, and of course, Lindsay Lohan. What triggered the switch? So in the 76 version, like you already said, they make a wish in the 95 TV movie, they also make a wish. So that's interesting that they thought that a more modern take would be to have them get some fortune cookies at a Chinese
A Fu
restaurant.
Manchu curse.
And then we hear that, like what people will say is like the Oriental music, like that generic like gong, and it's like, okay, that's the more modern.
Something that was making me chuckle because John Aston is the dad in the 76 version, and because the daughter is in Barbara Harris's body, and she keeps slipping up and calling him daddy, and he gets really excited. He's like, daddy. And then he's like he's at work because of course in 76 Barbara Harris is a housewife, so all of the shenanigans are about that, and she fires her housekeeper, who's that creepy lady from Rosemary's Baby, and he calls her and telling her to wear like the skimpy dress he likes because he got so excited about being called daddy.
Well, the mom's occupations. So in the 76 version, a stay-at-home mom, 95, a magazine editor, and then in 2003, a therapist. Yeah, I like this one.
Yeah.
It makes me want to see the new one.
Yes, it makes me a little more. I'm looking forward to it a bit more than I thought I was. But we're seeing Freakier Friday as a double feature with weapons.
Oh, I'm so tired of people asking me about weapons.
Well,
stop asking me if we're watching Weapons. What do you think?
Of course we're watching Weapons.
If we reviewed
Barbarian.
Well, or like we review, I almost said lesser, but like less well-known movies, of course we would watch Weapons.
Yes, and I've been very excited for it. Julia Garner, having a nice year. She was my favorite part of the Fantastic Four. So,
but what would you give Freaky Friday?
I was, as I said, I felt like maybe I've returned to my me, as Norwood Young would say.
Back to my me, which then also makes me think of Fantasia, and she had that album. Oh my god!
Didn't I just send you something about Norwood Young? Did he just do a new duet with some woman, and it's very hetero?
It's very It's
like
poor Norwood.
Norwood, don't do that to us. I don't believe that for a second.
Wait, what is that one album she had?
Who? Lindsay?
Fantasia.
Oh, Fantasia.
Oh, what is it called? Oh, Back to Me.
Back to Me. Yes, that's because right. Norwood accused her of stealing that title of his memoir. Didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, because his title is like Back to My Me. Because I put on an affect and was reading out loud from that for a minute. Because we went to his estate sale. Because doesn't he lives in Thailand now? Anyway, I don't know why I'm going on. We're scoring the film. Did we do that?
Nope. You still haven't given us your score.
3.5.
Yeah, the same score I gave Mean Girls, 3.5 out of 5. But I do think, I do recall thinking Mean Girls is very funny.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this film is as funny to me, but I think this film, the performances from the two leads are what really make this film a lot of fun.
It has such gravitas.
Okay, next week, you already mentioned we're seeing Freakier Friday, Weapons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hopefully not much else. I don't know.
You didn't respond to my email.
Oh, something called Relay, something called Strange Harvest.
Yeah, but those don't release next week, but the screenings are next week.
Oh.
There's a remake of Red Sonja coming out.
Is that like Conan the Barbarian?
Well, the original starred Arnold Schwarzenegger and God, was it Brigitte Nielsen? I've never seen that. So I'm actually more excited that this is an excuse for me to watch the original Red Sonja because the remake is coming out for one night only.
Oh, wow. Because it's going straight to streaming or something?
I think soon after that, yeah. Oh. But I don't know.
Are you reading anything?
Yeah. What did I just finish? Well, Washington Square I finished this week by Henry James, which you can't get better than writing the English language than Henry James, I think. But right now, there's a couple of things I need to read before Venice, but I'm reading The Queen of Spades and Other Stories by Alexander Pushkin. Because there's always been there's a 50s version with Anton Walbrook of Queen of Spades that I've been wanting to watch. So I read that. Anyway, I'm reading that. And then for something I was writing reminded me that I needed to read this other book sitting in a stack, but I've been reading, not necessarily in order, this book called Coming Together, which is about It's by Ryan Powell, which is a kind of a recuperation of underground gay cinema made by gay people. I think that predates Stonewall, and it's a very well researched compendium. What's the word I'm looking for? It's just a very well researched study on early queer cinema through the 70s, I believe. But that I find fascinating as well. And then I have to read Donald Westlake's The Axe prior to Venice, because that is the basis of the new Park Chan-wook film. And then watch the original film version by Costas Gavras. And I also want to read Caught Stealing. I need to fit that into, because that's that new Aronofsky, Austin Butler film.
All done?
Mm-hmm.
I just saw a meme that said, I got this girl's number the other day and used all her Kroger fuel points. But you know what? It just made me think, yeah, you can just put in anyone's phone number at the gas station and see if they have, whatever discount per gallon
at the Kroger.
All right. Anything else?
No.
Ta-ta.